4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yo, we're firing up the streams and the cylinders and just wanting to, yeah, see if you're here. See if you're here. I see you, IG. Thank you for being. We started first with you. Get the things moving. And I just want to press all the buttons I'm supposed to press. My goodness, so many buttons. Okay. Is Live on Lockdown, episode 42. I'm Baratunde Thurston. And I think we're up. Just need to move that little box. We're up on 5 of 6 of the places we're supposed to be up. So I'm going to do that. As you gather, take a seat, get comfortable. I have what we call in the business of meetings a hard out. So it is 5:02 p.m. Pacific time, and I have to be doing something else in exactly 58 minutes. So we're going to get done as much as we can. But first, and these people did not pay me for this, but I am so excited about this whiskey. Uncle Nearest Whiskey, 1884, small batch. Uncle Nearest was the original master distiller for Jack Daniels, but the story was buried because Nearest Green was enslaved. And the story's been resurrected. There's an amazing woman who found out about it, put the pieces together, restarted the company. It's the fastest growing whiskey brand in the country, maybe in history in the country, and is black owned. So whenever I have a shot, get it shot, I'm going to promote this as my beverage of choice. I learned about it gratefully, graciously, due to Paul Rykoff. Paul, if you're here, thank you so much. If you're not, I'll see you in the near future. Paul Rykoff has a great podcast, Angry Americans, and I think he learned about it from Jeffrey Wright, the great actor / android from Westworld. So yeah, I just saw the story play out today on a live stream, and I was like, you know what? Cheers. A friend of mine asked me, what did I think of the taste? What does it taste like? I said, it tastes like reparations. To Uncle Nearest, 1884. Not the sponsor of tonight's show. I just give away ad space. That's how generous I am. So I cheated tonight. I got topics from my texting people. And I asked them, what do you want me to talk about? The people who signed up to get live alerts. So if you hear from that, thank you so much. Help me fill out the docket. That number is 202-894-8844. Also, I forgot to do this. That's going to help me later on. I mean, I do like just clapping, just having a little gospel kind of mood, but it helps with the sound syncing. And actually, those multiple claps, probably not very helpful. We got some things to talk about. And if you're on the IG, drop them in the bucket. I'll try to get questions, hit the question mark. Let me say hi to a few people and see who we got up in the house tonight. All right, John Spelling, I see you. Jeremy Thompson, Eleanor Kotler, David Smith, and Winnette Randolph. Thank you all for being here. And Savage Ohms in the house. Yes, that's great. Marielle, I see you. Jen Nickel, thank you for coming back. It's been a minute. Montreal 75 is here, so we got ourselves a show. Yo, Wale! Oh, snap! Wale Arole, my Nigerian brother. What's up? This dude, I mean, I told the story before, but he hit me up in the IG DMs this summer. He's like, you should come on my show. He's actually Nigerian. I'm fake Nigerian. And he's huge. Dude is huge in Nigeria. And had me on his show on a Saturday. Feels like 25 years ago, bro. But I think it was 4 months ago. Anyway, thank you for showing up. Good to see you here. Check out his work. You can find him in the chat. Actually, you can't if you are not on IG. So he is official Arole. I hope I'm not butchering this too bad. Official Arole. Fascinating, funny, so much energy. Where does the energy come from, my brother? Oh, my goodness. Maybe it's from having a government which takes COVID with most seriousness, which we don't have. Who's the shithole now, America? Okay. So, and that's, oh, look at these flags. People repping your flags. Throw up your flag where you're from so you get a sense for each other while I dive into some of these here topics. All right, good evening, Iris. And we got Eddie Brill in the house. Yo, one of the most generous souls and spirits in the world of comedy I ever came across. I still remember running into Eddie on the sidewalk in the Lower East Side of New York City. Just a beautiful spirit. Good to see you here, Eddie. Thank you for joining us. So I want to share something I wrote this week that you may not have caught yet. It's a short story. It is the opening essay from my email newsletter, which I send every week. And I usually open it with an essay and then links to very important articles, sometimes uplifting, sometimes devastating. And I was inspired to put these words in sequence. I feel like a kid stuck in the backseat of a too long road trip. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I gotta pee. The car is hot, but we're moving too fast to open the windows. The radio is stuck on a horrifying loop of Ted Nugent songs. The driver is screaming something about the suburbs, refusing to wear a mask, and shedding coronavirus all over the place. This is what it feels like to be sane in the United States of America right now. We're trapped in a car careening toward a cliff's edge. 2 tires have already blown out. We're going down the wrong side of the road, and the driver is the President of the United States. Miles ago, we tried to call for help. Miles ago, we were pulled over, but the police let the driver continue and forced us to remain in the vehicle. This was after we found out the driver caused multiple fatal accidents, lacks insurance, is drunk, and never even had a license. Give him a chance, some of the other passengers said. He'll get the hang of this driving thing. When he plowed through a living room, they said driving has a steep learning curve. When he sideswiped a school bus, they blamed the distracting yellow paint. When he intentionally careened through a clearly marked minefield, they said, don't be such a wuss. Minds build character. We don't have to stay in this car or on this road. We can bring this maddening journey to an end. We outnumber the driver and his excuse makers by a wide margin. We can pull the brake, open the doors, get in a new vehicle and head in a new direction. We can drive away from the precipice toward an oasis. We can head toward a place that is more beautiful than anywhere we've been. We can eat and drink and rest. We can pee. We can laugh again and sing our own songs that remind us of why road trips can be awesome, which has less to do with where we're going than how we travel. Make your voting plan. Study your ballot up and down. Make sure every vote is counted. And when it is, this horrible trip will be over, and we can start a new journey together without Ted Nugent killing the vibe. So that's my essay with the mood of the moment. Thank you for listening. That's the most I've ever used the words Ted Nugent next to each other in my life. So yeah, it felt good to get that out. You know, it also felt good. Vice presidential debate felt pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, granted, the bar has been lowered. We did not see a monkey throwing feces all over norms and institutions and their own dignity. So by that standard, this was an exceptional candidate debate. People sort of stuck to their time and kind of answered questions and didn't really talk over each other all that much. And when I say that, I want to, in real time, even correct myself, because that was the language that was used to describe the presidential debate that we were assaulted by last week. Oh, it was a scream fest. It was 2 adults going back and forth. No. The presidential debate was 1 adult and 1 man-child, ruining democracy for everybody. And Joe Biden, bless his heart, did the best he could, which is he just held on for dear life for all of us. And he cracked a couple times. And I'm surprised he didn't go over and literally wallop some dude in the mouth hole area. Like, I am impressed with the physical restraint. The VP debate was a whole new bag. Mike Pence, Mike Pence, Mike Pence. I didn't know how much I disliked this dude. Like, I honestly don't think about this guy very much because the president is such a black hole for energy and light and life and love and attention and clicks and bandwidth that Mike Pence is like an afterthought. I'm like, oh, you still here? Oh, huh. Interesting. So I forgot what his voice sounded like. I didn't know what the sound of the man's voice was until he started mamming on my TV screen. And, I was braced because of the violent, childish antics of his boss. I was just like clutching. I was just like, oh, what's he going to do? What's you going to try to do to Kamala? And then he put on the whole Midwestern nice thing where he just calmly defends. And it's just like, listen, some children need to be separated from their parents. Their parents aren't good. And of course, we force hysterectomies, but you could think about it as we gave them an opportunity to pursue a procedure that we didn't charge them for. And they say that we don't believe in extending health care to undocumented immigrants. And as Mr. Vice President, that's your time. And so anyway, I know it's my time, but I want to start 5 new points and just calmly not answer the question, make up lies, and keep talking. To a degree where you're not even sure if I'm human, because I'm just going to keep rolling through it. Do I have an off switch? Am I a human? Am I a robot? Am I dead? I'm looking a little bit pasty. I am so near death. Oh, what is the most interesting thing that I've said tonight? I don't know, but this fly. Yo, can we give it up for the fly? Can we give it up for the fly? I mean, respect to Kamala, but the fly won the debate because the fly revealed to us that Mike Pence might actually be a corpse. Like, flies love to buzz around dying meat, just like rotting flesh. And what's more rotten than a man who claims to be a Christian and cozies up to this monstrosity of a president? What's more rotten than a dude who's willing to align himself with a narrow extremist group that interprets pro-life to mean forced non-access to healthcare and everybody else be damned? What is more rotten than a man who has sold out whatever last shred of integrity he has to line himself up with a former used steak salesman who proudly grabs women by their genitals? That's rotten. That's right. So of course the man is surrounded by buzzing flies. I'm surprised there was only one. I mean, yo, that fly was like, it was like Pence's hair was a wild horse. And the fly was going for like a rodeo championship. I mean, 2 minutes, yo. 2 minutes. That is, what kind of award we don't have awards for stuff like that. We need a new pandemic award show. I know the VMAs tried to do their thing. That wasn't very inspiring. I know the BET Awards, they did a pretty good job. And the Emmys, honestly, I didn't even see it. But we need an award show that recognizes the contributions to our great and dying but possibly renewed democracy that goes to that fly. That was, I don't know if I was watching the Olympics or ESPN Sporting Extreme Sports or a vice presidential debate or some combination of all 3. But yo, like, it made me believe again. Like, I was believing in miracles. I was like, they might actually count the votes because this fly is hanging on. Yo, that fly gave me life by circling around this death-eating person. Ooh, pro-life. Right. So give it up for the fly. Thank you, little homie. I really appreciate that. I thought it was on my TV. And I'm like, how is that fly just happening to track with Mike Pence's hair? He was there. That was dope. That was dope. Maybe it was a drone. If it was a drone, I want that technology. And I will pay whatever it takes because that's cool. To the senator from the great state of California, my senator from the great state of California, yo, good job. Kamala Harris did a good job. I think she was super comfortable. There was a lot of her performance in the primary debates that she just felt not really in herself. And I felt like she was in herself. They were seated. That maybe even helped. It helped him like almost fall asleep, except, he had to keep his job. But it felt like she knew what she came to do. She defended Joe Biden. she explained who she was, even though that wasn't a damn question. But she was like, anyway, let me talk about my mama. I was like, you do you. I mean, I'm offended at any time people just blithely like don't answer a question. But if you're going to not answer a question and give that time to your mama, I mean, some respect for your game there. So I thought she did better than average. I thought she did really well. And I thought she tolerated without tolerating some of the foolishness and just insisted on getting her time back from this Midwestern niceness where he just likes to keep talking. And she wasn't having it. The fracking thing, I mean, I think we need to get rid of fracking. And I was like, why is this whole debate ended up being about fracking? Why is all the climate change coming down to fracking? And then I realized later, Pennsylvania. It's like, oh, right, pandering. You got to pander to the one state that might decide the whole thing and tell them everything's going to be all right. You can keep those jobs. But at the end of the day, we need to create new jobs. So she had to do her little political tap dance, but I'm down for saving the planet that we need to live on, which is saving ourselves. And I don't have to say that stuff. I don't work for none of these people. So I think we should not be doing fracking. And I think we should find ways to find solid employment that pays people a livable wage and still provides dignity and has some health care that's not tethered to your dang job in the first place, because that's barbaric. And I don't want to live in a barbaric nation. But again, that's just me. I'm not running for nothing. This is just Baratunde just mouthing off. Are there any flies in my hair? I feel like I'm winning when there's not a fly in my head. That's how you know you won a debate. If a fly's not rodeo riding your scalp, you won the debate. Congratulations, Senator Harris. But also, you did good. You did good. Like she's watching this. But in case you're watching this, you did good. I don't even want a job or nothing. I just want you to like help dig us out of this damn hole. All right, VP debate. I think that's all I got to say about that. We talked policy. We did this and that. But I want to check in with you. Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. There was something about, this is actually worth an extra comment. There was something about the way she said, it was respectful and disrespectful while demanding respect by someone who's disrespecting you. All at once, right? She used the honorific, Mr. Vice President. She asserted her presence and her rights. I'm still speaking. And implied, you should shut up. STFU, homie. Without saying, shut up. And that was more artful. Joe Biden couldn't get that artfulness. He was just like, will you shut up, man? Also, he was facing with a different opponent. So I think she kind of played the Midwestern nice against itself. She Tai Chi'd it, she reversed that energy. So I like that a lot. Shout out to some of your comments on this one. Eleanor Kotler says, Harris Fly 2024. Yo, I mean, the fly would make a better vice president than the current vice president. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. And I think if there is something to be worried about, there's something that's like worries me beyond the current president is the idea of a President Pence. Drew Haas, thank you for that. The dude is committed to a level of extremism. He's an extremist. I think that's like the right word to use to think about how he used his power as governor of Indiana. It's extremism. And he can say that he's respectful, but it's very disrespectful to pursue the policies that he's pursuing. It's very disrespectful to like cozy up to the person that he's cozied up to. And so he has this like veneer on his poop, right? But when you and your policies are doo-doo, you know what happens, right? Flies show up. Yo, this fly explains everything. I might have to do an hour on the fly. Oh, no pun intended. I'm sorry. We're shutting it down. No more fly talk. Oh, I did it again. The show is pretty fly. I'm just doing this for me at this point. You don't even have, you might as well not even be there. Mike Pence, pretty fly for a white guy. Ah! I'm killing myself. But seriously, we gotta vote these fools out. I got some tough questions from y'all on the text message line that I want to get into. Leslie wrote in, I've been talking to voters to encourage them to get out and vote early. I just had my ear bent by a guy who swears, quote, the Democrat Party is being taken over by Death Eaters like at Hogwarts, end quote. Feels like I just drank from a Fox fire hose. What are we to do about people like that post-election with whom we have to live and work and reimagine a future that we can all survive in, who are so effing brainwashed? That's a great question, Leslie. That's a great question. I open it to the floor. The level of misinformation and brainwashing and commitment to it are extraordinary. And we've always had pockets, but it feels like it doesn't feel like it is growing. You got a third of people think COVID's not real. It's very real. 210,000 dead Americans certify that, and plus 1 million people around the world. So, and I even alluded to it in my conversation. What I said last week in my post-presidential debate joint, where these are our neighbors, these are our family members, these are our colleagues and bosses and employees, and I don't want to other them the way they other us. You know, it's just not. You got to be better and different than that, and try to like model the thing you want to live in. So it's easy to say all that stuff, but then what do you do when folks are convinced that like Pizzagate's still happening? That I don't have an easy answer. So I encourage you on your various places to talk amongst yourselves on this one. And I've been thinking about it. And I think the first thing we have to do is win. All we got to do is win, 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 no matter what. Because without that, then we don't really have a leg to stand on in that way. When we win, we shift the power. When you shift the power, more people follow the center of gravity, which anchors that power. Look at the current Republican Party. They would have never signed up for most of this if you had proposed it to them 5 years ago. If you just proposed the idea that we're going to let a pandemic run rampant, that we're going to have Russians taking out bounties on American soldiers, and the U.S. president's not going to do nothing about it, not even going to bring it up, not even going to be like, yo, I know, Vladimir, I owe you mad money, but listen, man, I guess I got to say this. What's up with the bounties on our boys and our girls? What's up? Okay, anyway, let's talk about hacking. You know, like he ain't even pretend. He's like, nah, I didn't even bring it up. You could not bring that to the Republican Party 5 years ago and say Russia's going to take out bounties on U.S. soldiers, and the U.S. president, an alleged Republican, is not going to do anything about it, and proudly. They'd be like, that's not my Republican Party. What you talking about? We hate Russia. Remember Mitt Romney? All he was talking about was Russia, Russia, Russia back in 2012, and y'all laughed him out of the running. I was a part of that. That was a little premature. I feel slightly bad. He kind of had some points, Mitt Romney did, on the Russia front, clearly. So I say all that to say that power changes people. And they got the presidency through this malintended human being, and they made their peace with it. I mean, Ted Cruz, say what you want about my wife or my daddy, I don't care. You want some sugar with that? So I think with some of these people who are members of our community who are acting the fool right now, a good number of them will be forced to come around because the power will shift, especially with a White House and Senate and House win. You gotta have all three. Can't be having Mitch McConnell having that power anymore. We see what he's done with it. He stole a Supreme Court justice, maybe two. So you do that, and then you bring along a bunch of people. And then I think for the more extreme ones, and we'll talk about what's going on in Michigan, You apply significant law enforcement resources to the violent terrorists and extremists in our midst. That's where you want the police to actually operate, not stopping and frisking little black and brown boys for riding the subway, not crushing peaceful protests and dropping chemical weapons in American streets and kidnapping fools without badges. That's excessive. But if you got little Tom and Jerry out here running around with their backwards American flag on their t-shirt talking about, we starting the revolution. Lock them up. Lock them up, clear and present danger. So you take them off the board, right? And then we're going to have to do something about our tech infrastructure and our media ecosystem, which is super fragmented, allows all these echo chambers. It's a whole thing. It's a whole program. You know what I'm saying? It involves resetting some of our expectations and some of our governance and regulations on these platforms where this stuff plays out. It's not easy. I don't pretend it's easy, but it's got to be done because we got folks running wild out here saying whatever they want to say, gathering, fomenting, and it's damaging to public health. It's damaging to democracy. It has real harm. It's not just a free speech issue. It's free speech that hurts people, which is no longer just speech. It's action. So there's that. Those all cover the edges. And then with the people in our lives who we love and have proximity to, I think we can take pages from de-escalation techniques in gangs and terrorist organizations and cults. I say that with no hyperbole. Cults. We have a cult-like situation right now. We have a figure who can do no wrong, who folks think was sent by God to bring the mess. Okay, cool. So superstitions aside, this dude broke like every law, and then he's about to get voted out. And when he does get voted out, he got to go. So we are a nation of laws, not random beliefs, not feels. So we're going to apply some laws here, and we just need to step you down from this program you've been invested in. And we got to find some off-ramps from that crazy for these people we care about, and some on-ramps back into something that feels like sensible society. They don't have to agree with the Green New Deal at the end of the day. I'm not saying if you either believe in the Green New Deal or we got a re-education camp for you. That's nuts. No. I am saying that we got folks out here wilding out, bringing guns to pizza shops, trying to kidnap governors because they all twisted in the head, and that's been made too easy and been accelerated by a whole political party and the president of the United States. So you change the president, you disempower that captured and corrupt cult of a political party. That's a huge amount of progress. You win first. Then you pursue the violent ones and the criminals and the terrorists, and you apply the actual law enforcement resources where they're needed there. You take them off the board, and then you're left with the platforms where all this stuff plays out, and you work over time to create a different sort of structure to regulate that stuff. And you work within the families and the people and the communities we love, we got to deal with. And we hug people and we ask them questions and we expose them to good information. Also, we got to get rid of Fox News. And the hopefully soon to be former president can't have access to like any communications technology. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. Because he will continue to foment nonsense. So I believe that this president, I hope and want for him to live a long, healthy life. It seems like he's doing great. So that's great. That's great. Thoughts and prayers. Sometimes they work. And I want for him a long and healthy life so he can live through fully aware of the most embarrassing and devastating landslide in the history of electoral politics anywhere on the planet. I want him to be full of sound mind and body as much as that's possible for his unsound mind and really unhealthy body to experience that full immersion in that reality. And I want him to continue to be healthy and fully aware as we hold him accountable and hold him in community, specifically the community of Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, where he will probably land after he faces prosecution for all the aforementioned crimes committed before, during, and probably after his time at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So that'd be great. That'd be great. But when he's there, he's got to be focused. He's got to be focused on the yard work. He's got to be watching, that prison educational content, because we're gonna fund that, right? We believe in rehabilitation, so we're gonna give a special program just for him, where he gets to watch exclusively videos of Barack Obama, speeches by Barack Obama in Spanish with Creole subtitles. I think that will just deliver a great message for him, and he'll be so busy learning and working those fields, won't have any access to the technology to be tweeting no nonsense, fomenting no rebellion from his new home. Again, it's a nice transition because he's going from federally subsidized housing at the White House to federally subsidized housing. And his whole universe has been federally subsidized since he got his start by stealing $400,000 of something worth of taxes from me and you. So, it ain't really that much of a change. His whole life's been subsidized by the federal government. Why stop now? Let's just change the venue, mix it up a little bit. I don't even know how I got there, but it was fun. That was a fun journey. Thank you for going there with me. Oh, right. Propaganda and misinformation. Good luck with that. To all of us. We need it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Folks are committed. And then one of the things that troubles me is when certain behaviors do not correlate to different underlying conditions. I said that's super abstract and nerdy, but I think it's a principle that bothers me, and I'll give you a couple of examples. One example has been fresh in my mind for the past few months. It's police budgets. Crime goes up, police budgets go up. That makes some kind of sense. Some kind. If you think of police as people who can stop crime from happening, it makes sense. Heavily police investigate crimes after they happen and chase criminals after they've committed crimes. But I can understand a world where you think more police, less crime. Okay. So I get the logic of that. But then crime goes down and police budgets still go up. That makes no sense to me. Why you need more police if crime's going down? And that's the world we've been living in the United States for the past decade, maybe more. It's irrational. It's an irrational use of funds. One behavior is untethered to what should be something it depends on. So independently moving, nonsense. It's just a constant. Just police budgets just go up. That's a constant. All right. So another lack of correlation that bothers me. When a Democrat was president of the United States, gun sales go up. Right? Gun sales go up when there's a Democrat. It's perverse, but I get the logic, right? The logic is you think this Democratic president is going to come and try to take your gun, so you need some backup guns, right? They're not coming to take your guns, but I understand the world where you believe that, and there's an internal logic to like, I better buy up these guns before these Democrat presidents come and try to take all my stuff. But you got a Republican president, and the gun sales still going up. That don't make no sense. That's not correlated. So you just want guns. It doesn't matter. You've made up a story to justify some underlying behavior you wanted to pursue regardless. So we're living in that. We're living in that right now. And we got folks out here preparing for stuff when a Democrat is president or when a Republican is president. So you're just committed to fear, regardless of any cause for that fear. That's cultish behavior. It's untethered from reality. You can measure the amount of crime and then adjust your police budgets accordingly. You can measure the party of the president in office and adjust your gun purchasing rate accordingly. That's not what's happening. This is just crazy. This is not connected to reality. That's why I use the word cult. That's why I think this is a problem. That's why I think we have some stuff we're going to have to deal with for a minute. So, yeah. I just need to take a breath. It's a lot running through my head right now. Let me check in with you. 24 minutes left on the clock. What we gonna do? Steve Ringer, can I just vote for you? Nah, bruh, I'm not on any ballot. But I will take this opportunity to encourage you to truly investigate your ballot. It is not just the president of the United States or senators and governors on your ballot. You've got mayors in some cases, you've got city councilors, you've got community college board members, you've got sheriffs and district attorneys, all on the ballot. And you've got measures. You've got all kinds of stuff about weed, about voting. So even if you're not inspired by the top of the ticket, dig into the bottom of the ticket. That's where the good stuff is. You scrape the bottom of that. You scrape the bottom of that ballot like it was a pint of chocolate ice cream, and the good stuff is right there. Like it's the butter and the popcorn at the very bottom and your hands get all gooey. That's voter goo. That's your power. That's a disgusting metaphor. That is your power. You finger licking good. Democracy. Finger licking. I cannot even keep a straight face for this one. It's ridiculous. This is what happens if you vote for me. I'm crazy too. So I'm not running for nothing. I'm just talking to you right now. Encourage you to get out there and do your voting thing and dig into that ballot and make your plan and talk to your people to make sure it gets done. I want to use this as an opportunity to promote some efforts. Some people ask me about people and organizations that we can support to help get this done. Power to the Polls is working on a piece of this puzzle, which is volunteers at polling sites, poll workers. A big number of them are generally elderly. This is not a good time for senior citizens to be trapped indoors for like 12-hour shifts during a pandemic that it hits them harder. So you young, you got all kinds of energy. You can take a day off of whatever else you're doing and do this public service. That'd be great. And Power to the Polls is helping that happen. And I'm helping them, doing some kind of a pep rally with them next week. Very excited. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund, they are doing a lot of on-the-ground work. And I've gotten to hear from them. We actually talked to the president, Cheryl and Eiffel, for my podcast, How to Citizen with Baratunde. That episode's dropping pretty soon. So support them. They've got a website, voting.naacpldf.org, with resources. If you're out in these streets and you're seeing shenanigans happen, 866-OUR-VOTE. Just put that number in your phone, 866-OUR-VOTE, and then figure out how to translate the Our Vote into numbers. I got it written down somewhere, but I don't have access to it right now. So I'm going to give you that homework assignment. It's also a website, 866-OUR-VOTE.org. And there's so many fundraising efforts to support candidates up and down the ticket. Find something that you care about, and if you have money, spend it. This is the time. This is the time to spend it. So those are a few things. The last thing I'll say, and we have lost sight of this in trying to put out literal and metaphoric fires that emerge every day in this country. The census, the census, the census. Be counted. Be counted. It is another sign of assault on our democracy that you've got a White House and an administration that's trying to hurry up the census so we don't count people. And the people that don't end up getting counted are indigenous folks, are people of color, are black folks, are poor people, are immigrants. And those counts determine $1.5 trillion of federal spending and determine where bridges go or don't, who gets representation in Congress or doesn't. And this dude, this president is racing to do as much crimey stuff as possible. It may not be full on illegal, but it's criminal-ish. It's crimey. And he is trying to pull off as many shenanigans as he can because he sees the writing on the wall. I don't even bother to talk about the stuff he says every day and look at all his tweets. It's just, it doesn't need my energy. But you see what's happening. Somebody's breaking down. Somebody's scared. Somebody a little worried. Why are you trying to suppress the vote so much unless you're worried about losing the vote? Why are you trying to undermine the census count unless you know what that count means for the future of the country? He's doubled down on the weakest, most cowardly, smallest part of our country. People who have power who act like they don't. He doubled down on a slice of whiteness. Not even just a little slice of whiteness. The part that's been handed every advantage and gets upset when you extend a whiff of fairness to somebody else. What about my advantage? That's not fair. I want my advantage back. He's all in. It's too late for him. All these people thinking, maybe catching COVID will change him. It's too late for that. It was too late back during the Central Park 5. We've been known. This dude has been unfit from get. And folks still holding out hope he's going to become presidential. He's been president for damn near 4 years. He's not going to become presidential now. Why would he? He got everything he needed by doing the dirt, doing the foul thing, being a menace to society. Why would he choose now to be humble and gracious and caring and empathetic? There's literally nothing in it for him. And everything he's done has been solely based on what's good for him. So even as he faces the prospect of being kicked out of his job, he's cramming. It's like he's preparing for a final exam. He knows he's going to fail, but he's cramming anyway. He's like, what else can I mess up? What else? You know, when authoritarian figures know what's coming, you know what they do, right? They torch the place. They burn the records. Yanukovych and fools over in Eastern Europe, it doesn't matter. You could substitute a name in. They get the shredders going. They start plowing that stuff under, and they try to grab as much loot as they can. They're basically in that glass box with the money flying. Like, I'm gonna get as much as I can before they're on a shopping spree of criminality. And so this dude trying to leave a legacy of befoulment. Let me see if I can squeeze in another Supreme Court justice. Let me see if I can wreck the census for a decade. So even though I'm representing a minority of a minority of a minority, we gonna rule like a majority because of these Supreme Court appointments, because of these federal court appointments, because of this census shenanigans. So we owe it to ourselves to look at that long game, to see it as not just another tweet. This ain't about tweets. This is about long-term damage. This is about a fool trying to squeeze in as much of an extremist agenda as possible while he can. Do your census. 2020census.gov. Ask your neighbors if they did theirs. Bring it up. We all in Zooms. We're connecting to hundreds of people a week. You don't even know. Just like in the middle of your little slide presentation, be like, yeah, and as you can see, Q3 numbers are not doing so well owing to the pandemic. So what had happened was, do your census. Carol in accounting, do it. And just bring it up. Just bring it up. You tucking your kids in at night. Oh, how was your day today? Oh, I know how your day interrupted my day. Anyway, do your census. You just washing the dishes, just tired of washing dishes, but you're doing it, didn't know you had. Where did all these dishes come from? Did the pandemic end up with more dishes? I didn't even know I had these many dishes. Oh, did I do my census? Take a break from washing dishes and do your census. That almost rhymed. So we got to do that too. We got a lot to do. 15 minutes. Let's go. Yeah, I should acknowledge Tracy Fowler wrote a while back. I changed up times because I got a thing. So we're going to be bouncing around. This thing started at 7 p.m. Pacific, and then I was like right in the middle of prime eating time. I don't know why I ever did that. And then I moved it back to 6. But now I regularly will have a commitment at 6 on alternating weeks. So do I bounce the time around, or do I just shift it to 5 permanently? I think I know the answer. People like consistency, and you start moving stuff around, nobody knows what's what. So probably the new time on Thursdays will be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see. I ain't making no promises. I reserve the right to do this whenever I want, or to not do it at all. Freedom. Okay. So many topics a little time. There's been folks asking about managing fear, managing anxiety, managing stress. So let's talk about managing fear, anxiety, and stress. Diana wrote me how to be around people without masks, and how do I bring that up without feeling like a sort of a nagging Nelly. It's not the phrase she used. I just kind of interpreted it that way. Jen Nickel wrote in, I live in a red state and it makes me very disheartened. How do we move forward if the Nugent is still playing on the radio? Nice callback to my story at the top of the show, Jen. Michelle reminds us that October 11th is Mental Health Day. I don't think it's a coincidence this year. We need this. So I'm encouraging, if you're watching live, light up the comments with how you're getting by, how you're managing your mental health during this stressful time. It's very exhausting. And I'll riff briefly on the topic to try to get to some more things, some more exciting things. This is not exciting, but it's necessary. I tell you what, like, I get to about this time of week and I can just feel my body shutting down. Right? I am putting out a lot. I am trying to absorb all this stuff. I'm trying to make sense of it for myself, sometimes for you. And that's not a complaint. It's just a confession. It's a sharing that we are in an exhausting time. And I think there had been this period of social media-ness where you just pretend you got everything together all the time and you're just crushing it. You're just hustling and crushing and winning and all kinds of positive gerunding. You know, you're just doing that. And we ain't in that. I'm not there. So I get tired, I get angry, I get sad, I get depressed, I get forlorn. I get so forlorn. I use words like forlorn. And it hits about sometimes Wednesday. It's a great week when it don't hit till Friday. But Thursday is like the median day where my body's just like, listen, man, this ain't right. This ain't right. You're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. You got the whole racial uprising situation. You got the pandemic still, people acting like that joint. So you got a madman for a president. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to shut down the census. And this is crazy. You know this is crazy, right? You know this is crazy, right? You acting like it's normal. But we your body. We not going to lie. This is crazy. You need to sleep. We going to force nap now. And then my body just like execute force nap function. I just imagine this control room inside of my psyche, which is like no more screens, initiating shutdown sequence. So that's normal. That's my normal. And if you're experiencing anything like that, you're normal too. And I've been doing meditation, trying to keep up with that. That is helpful. It is not like, it doesn't solve everything. It's no hydroxychloroquine, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no injected bleach, but it does some, it helps some. And we try to get a good night's sleep, or at least try to get a good night's sleep. I can't guarantee what happens, but I try to go to bed at a reasonable time and stay in it, and not just be on all the time. And I try to spend some time with friends. I definitely have abandoned some friends during this time because it's just stressful. It's like and then a lot of our conversations have also just been about everything that's stressful. It's not stress relieving to talk about stress with people who are stressed. So finding ways to connect with folks that's not just talking about the madness that's out there that we're all living in has been something I'm working on. And connecting with family, and that's helpful. And cooking, though honestly, I think I might be over cooking. I think I cooked a lot in 2020. You know what I'm saying? I cooked way more than anything that would have been considered a healthy amount of cooking in the before times. You know, like I'm cooking all 3 meals a day, every day, for weeks. No, I'm just like, yo, what local restaurant can I support now? I am so excited to support local restaurants. I'm like, but how do I support them? Like, am I gonna do the DoorDash thing? I feel like that's exploitative. I'm gonna spend time to find the other way to get them money. Let me go to their Instagram. Okay, this is Instagram week. Let me look at how they got Instagram specials. Ooh, do they still have websites? Do people still use websites? I'm gonna go to their website. Ooh, what is Chow Now? Looks like Chow Now is the best model because they get all, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just straight up go to the restaurant. I'm gonna go to the restaurant with just money. Well, with my phone, which is money now. And I'm gonna be like, give me food. And I'm gonna wave the magic wand of the smartphone over the little receptacle. And then food will appear. And I will, in a masked state, grab it and then hand sanitize my hands before I handle the food. As long as somebody else made it. Oh, it's so exciting. So exciting to have somebody else make the food. And it's good to support these local businesses. So yeah, do that too. Do that too. So I hope you're finding some ways to weather this storm. Fear is normal. Anxiety is normal. Stress is a part of all this. And this is extraordinary. We're being asked to bear a lot of weight. So do what you got to do to preserve yourself. Thank you for the topic suggestions. I have been eager to give you an update about an exciting part of my life. Two exciting parts of my life, very locally based parts of my life. I'm talking about critters. I'm talking about little neighbor girl. So let's get into it. These critters, here's the update on the backyard. If you're new to me, I've been on a journey during this pandemic to reconcile my relationship with the animals who also inhabit the lot that I live on. They ain't signed a lease, but apparently they got squatters' rights, or they were here first. So there's been the squirrels in the middle of the day eating up all the avocado, having sex all the time. There's been the birds who peck away at the peaches, and they fly, so you can't really grab them. There's been the possum who freaked me out so much the first time I saw them. I called my landlord, like, yo, there's possum in the backyard. He's like, I know. I'm like, there's possum in the backyard. I expected him to do something, call the Ghostbusters and beam them up. Fix it. And he's like, yeah, there's possum in the backyard. Is there anything that's wrong? It's like, all right, cool. So I guess we're just living with this. All right. And then the skunks. The skunks was the new chapter. I was like, there's skunks everywhere. Oh my God, it's all these skunks. And I made peace with all of them. And I say that like I was the bigger person, right? It's not like I'm noble. It's not like I saw the error in my ways. They just kept coming and there's nothing I could do about it. So I had to make peace. I surrendered is what I'm saying. I surrendered to the stronger party, which is all these four-legged critters and the winged ones. And I was cool. We had a whole new symbiotic sort of relationship. We shared the fruit. I learned when to pick it. You know what I'm saying? I pick some, you pick some. It's a whole it's like the mitochondria. You know what I'm saying? It's like the midichlorians from the Star Wars. It's a symbiotic relationship. Mitochondria are cool too, but it's a little different. Or is it? And then what happened was a new player entered the scene. A new animal, a new critter showed up on the block. The raccoons. The raccoons showed up. And it's a different situation with the raccoons. The skunks, they're cute. You know what I'm saying? They bounce their little Pepe Le Pew, doo, 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 doo. I literally hear cartoon music when I see them bopping. I'm like, that's adorable. The skunks, they basically are flying creatures. That's admirable. Right there. They have feats that they accomplish. They be leaping from tree to tree while having sex and eating fruit. That's amazing. Again, is that the Olympics? Is that a vice presidential debate? I don't. So the raccoons show up. And they remind me of the crew that used to run the block where I grew up. They roll 4 deep. Just you just see him on the camera. It's just what? We here. That's right. We bad. What? Would you want some of this skunk? You want some? Ain't no other critters around when the raccoons around. Everybody clear out. Coons in the house. Coons coming. Raccoons coming. It's like... It's like my boy from The Wire, right? What's that character's name from The Wire? It escaped me. One of the greatest actors of all time. Oh man, he used to stick up kids. He's coming. Mess with the king, you best not miss. What's that dude's name? Omar coming. The raccoons is basically Omar. 4 of them rolling deep. What? We got this. This is our house. You just keeping it warm for us. Thanks for paying the electric. And they engage in a level of tomfoolery and horseplay and shenanigans and straight up just thuggery. They're just thugs, man. I don't mean they are just thugs. And they knock things over. They're not even in it. They're not eating the vegetables. They're not eating the fruit. They just causing a ruckus. And I got footage. I'm going to share this with you. I got footage of these fools just tumbling, wrestling. And the other night, lying in bed with my lady. We're lying in bed. We're trying to turn down for the night. And we hear something. She's like, you hear that? You never want your woman to say, do you hear that? Instinct. I'm like, where's the flashlight? Where's the baseball bat? You always keep a baseball bat. Always keep a baseball bat. Where the flashlight? And I didn't want to be having to be the protector. You know, I'm trying to just Netflix and chill right now. And I gotta turn off the Netflix because it's loud and I can't hear who's trying to break into the house. So I'm just like, oh, I'm partly annoyed because I just don't have time for this. It's Friday night. And I told you how I feel by that time of the week. After a week of dealing with this nonsense and the COVID and the president and all the, now we got intruders. So I'm just like, all right, let's get it together. I got this crazy flashlight that's basically a weapon. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm holding it like as a blade. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, babe, I got, stay to bed, turn off the little air filtration because we in California need that air filtration or you die. So turn off all the noise sources and then just start checking things out. And you hear it again. What is that? It's on the roof. It's on the roof. They're on the roof. And I've watched too many action movies. So I'm like, who's on the roof? Oh, it's about to go down. They found me. They've been watching my shows on the internet. They're coming. They about to breach. I got the language and everything. They're about to breach. They're going to come in on the zip lines. Fools is going to crash in. All right, stay away from the windows. I got my flashlight, my baseball bat. It's raccoons. Apparently having some kind of WWE wrestling contest on the roof. Banging up everything. You know what's on the roof? Solar panels. I'm so excited to live in the house with solar panels. Like we doing our part. We try to do it. And these raccoons up here messing with my Green New Deal. What? Come on, man. Like really? We got these solar panels up here to save your planet, raccoons. And you out here, I don't know how to call a solar repairman. I don't even know what that costs. What is that? So I'm just like, I don't like it. I'm not good with it. They need to move on. I wish them no harm. I just wish them another backyard. That's what's going on in my life. And very quickly, little neighbor girl spotted her through the window the other day. It was super exciting. Her and her dad and her mom, thumbs ups, hey. And then she was working on a school project, had to collect leaves. And part of me thought, oh, your father made that up just as an excuse to like clean up the block. Like that's a cute assignment to give a little child. I need you to go out into the street and collect as many different types of leaves as possible. And then we're going to examine them together and look at the different. Cool. That is called neighborhood cleanup. And that is genius. Genius. So little neighbor girl's doing great. I know many of you are wondering and are curious. These critters are all exceptional and wonderful except for the raccoons. And that's my time. I want to dedicate this show to Uncle Nearest Whiskey. Thank you so much for existing. And to The Fly. I might even watch the movie The Fly just because I'm in this headspace now. The Fly gave me life last night. Kamala Harris, you did your thing. Appreciate you. You're going to make a great VP. But The Fly, a new level. We reached a new level. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Baratunde Thurston. This has been Live on Lockdown, episode 42. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? We just did that. Stay safe. Stay connected to each other. Do your census. Make your voting plan up and down the ballot. Track your vote. Make sure it's counted. We're going to do this. Because if we don't, I got to grab all this gear and go, and I'll probably get to some other place. There'll be a raccoon in my luggage. Bet. That's it. And I normally like a dramatic end, but there's so much going on. I got to find the window. I am not leaving the stream going again like I did